We're doing what we came here to do, which is cool. Oh, look, more stuff. I hope you're having fun, everybody, because I am. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Brothers War draft. I'm Alex, aka Chord-O-Calls, from the Limited Level Ups podcast and YouTube channel. This set is really fun. I've already got my hands on it quite a bit, been able to get a few drafts in already. So let's jump in. Hope to acquaint you with some of the cards and also hopefully provide some draft tips along the way. All right, so what do we open here? Our rare is the Stone Brain, which is a cool card for Constructed, but really isn't a card you're going to want to play in your limited decks. I think the two cards that really stand out to me in this pack are Static Net, which is a really cool removal spell that gives you a Power Stone, can exile anything, and gains you 2 life to boot. Really cool card. Power Stones are just awesome. Anything that you say that has Power Stone on it is going to be a card you want. The other card I'm looking at is Alloy Animist here, and this card maybe doesn't look as good as Static Net on first blush, but you're going to have a lot of random artifacts just lying around the battlefield, cheap artifacts, Power Stones included, and turning them all into 4/4s at some point is really quite powerful. And a slight consideration here, I've liked green a little bit more than white, so I'm actually going to take the Alloy Animist to start out here. All right, moving on to pick 2 here. We've got 2 rares, actually. One of the things that I didn't shout out about the first pack is every pack of Brothers War actually has this cool retro artifact slot. So you'll get cards like Lodestone Golem and old cards like Wormcoil Engine in the slot. Really exciting cards. They're not standard legal, but you do get to play with them in draft. So that's a card that is, piques my interest. I think I'm not going to be taking it here, but it is cool. Our other rare, Perennial Behemoth, is a card that I actually was not super impressed with looking at it, but I saw it in play a few times in the past few drafts. My opponents had it, and it just blocks all day. Playing lands from your graveyard is a little more relevant than you might expect because there's Evolving Wilds in the set, which is a way to easily get a land to your graveyard. There's some self-mill going on, so a lot of the times, my opponent played this and they, drew 3 lands and blocked my giant creatures all day. So I'm going to take this. It's a good follow-up to our previous green card, Alloy Animist here. Okay, so pick 3 here. We've got some options. We've got Arbalest Engineers, which is a fantastic gold card. Just so modal, so many options. Again, creating Power Stones is really quite powerful. Being able to ping something is nice, or just have a hasty 3/3 is great. There's also Audacity, which is a cool little throwback to Rancor for people who know that card, but really powerful little aura here. There's Blanchwood Prowler, which is a really solid 2-drop. Fills the graveyard for our Perennial Behemoth too. There's also a good removal spell here in Overwhelming Remorse. 5 mana removal spell, exiles something, which is relevant in this set. There is graveyard stuff happening, and you can get it to, 2 or 3 mana a lot of the time. What am I going to end up taking? I think I'm just going to take the Audacity. It's really valuable in draft to stay close to one color if you can, so that maybe, later down the line, you open up a blue bomb or a red bomb, you can just take that card. You don't lock in early to green, white or something, and it just gives you more flexibility, basically. All right, and our rare here is really a cool one with the Multiverse. I actually think I'm going to take it. Maybe this is a little more fun than good, but this is a super cool card. So it lets you play cards off the top of your library. It also lets you play a free card each turn, which is really cool. It does cost 8 mana, which is a lot. But you know what? This pack isn't all that exciting anyways, and green does have some good ramp. Power Stones can't cast this card, so that's a little bit of a knock against it, but it's cool. I'm going to take it. The other card in this pack that I would look at is Disfigure, 1 mana to give something -2/-2. Pretty solid interaction spell, but I can't pass up the sweet rare here. All right, now our 2 options here are between Take Flight, which is quite a powerful card. You can jump one of your cheap creatures, start drawing cards. If your opponent doesn't have any removal, you really start to run away with the game. Also, the other card here is Evangel of Synthesis, and this is the black, blue, gold signpost uncommon. Kind of points towards what the color pair wants to do. Wants to draw multiple cards a turn to trigger stuff like Evangel. You know what? I actually think I'm going to take this card. I do think it's enough better than Take Flight. Yes, we've got some green cards, and, I would like to play my early picks, but this is the best card in the pack by quite a bit in my estimations, and if we don't play the green cards, that's okay. Okay, pick 6 here. Really nice pick. Another Alloy Animist. I was happy to take it early. I'm thrilled to say it's 6th pick here. All right, now what do we take? So this one gets interesting because pick 7 here, we're seeing a Excavation Explosion, and this card is just excellent. 3 mana, 3 damage to anything, including your opponent's face, make a Power Stone. Here's a tip. Here's, one tip I can give you for drafting this format early. Anything that makes a Power Stone is really cool. Remember, not only does it help you cast your giant, expensive 7 and 8 mana artifacts, but it works on activated abilities too. So stuff like Unearth, it works for that. Stuff like Air Marshal, which is in this pack. You can use Power Stone to pump that into that, and you can use your lands for other things. So I'm going to take this Explosion. We're kind of feeling out the draft still. We've got 4 colors worth of cards, but you know what? We still have a whole draft to go, whole 2.5 packs. I'm not too worried about being all over the place just yet. We're going to just find our colors and we'll be fine. This pack also has a really, really awesome card here. So we've got Saren's Steelbreaker. This is 2 mana for a 1/2. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you look at the top card of your library, and if it's a land, you put that card into your hand. So really, really good with all the expensive 7 and 8 mana artifacts there are in this set. Also pretty good if we're going to cast one with the multiverse. So I'm really thrilled to see this. And now I'm kind of feeling that, green might be our base color, and we'll figure out what our secondary color is after. All right, so this is our pack that we opened. The Stonebrain comes back around. The other 7 players also agree this is not a good card for limited. What else do we have here? We've got Desynchronize, which is a fine interaction spell. We've also got Heavyweight Demolisher, which is a card I've actually been pretty impressed with. It's just gigantic and really demands an answer. I actually think I'm going to take this Coastal Bulwark here, though. Kind of an odd card, but I think our deck is going to go pretty long. I think we're going to want some defensive speed, which just means early blockers, stuff to help us stay alive. If we're going to cast these 5, 6, 7, 8 drops, we do want to make sure we don't just die early. End of the pack here, nothing too exciting. I'm just going to take this Ruscgoliath here, gigantic monster that does have the prototype ability, which I haven't, I mentioned, but I haven't really gone in depth on. Prototype is awesome because, look, if you don't have 8 mana lying around, even with Power Stones, you can cast your card for pretty cheap, right? You just always are going to have 4 or 5 mana most games. But late in the game, you draw your Ruscgoliath, and you're like, oh, sweet, I'm not that far away from casting a 10 mana 10/10. Okay, and this is awesome too. The Arbalest Engineer's Wield, so I'm really happy to take that. And, I'm still unsure where we're going to be, right? We could be blue-green, we could be red-green. I'm really just open to anything, I think. All right, this pack, nothing too exciting here. Arms Race, kind of a constructed card. I'm just going to take another Coastal Bulwark, I believe. I don't mind Tocasia Dig Site. I think this card is reasonable. It's a good way to filter your draws. Again, another thing to pump Power Stones in. So, not sure if I'm going to play this card for sure, but it's not a bad card. We got old school card, Ivory Tower here, but I'll take Goblin Firebomb as the slightly more powerful card. And last pick, Mishra's Juggernaut. Okay, so if we look at our deck here, currently, just doing this other view, we've got a decent amount of green cards. I don't think blue was flowing that much. I don't think black was flowing that much. So if we just organize here, we've got really good incentive to play blue. But, if we end up playing red-green, that's cool too. Okay, so back to our pack here. What have we got? Ooh, we've got Perilous Vault. So this is a pretty decent card, especially if we're going to be a slower deck, trying to go over the top. It's a bit of a slow field wipe, but I still think it's pretty good. So it's 4 mana to play, 5 mana exile everything. It's one of the best things you can do if you're falling a little bit behind. Now, it's a little bit awkward in our deck if we're going to make a bunch of Power Stones, but I'm looking at the rest of this pack, and Astronaut is a powerful card, but like I said, I don't think we're going to be in black. I think black was pretty cut. There's Stern Lesson, which is a really good card to help filter your cards and, make a Power Stone. Again, all the Power Stone cards are awesome. Another Overwhelming Remorse, another black card. I'm just going to take the Perilous Vault. I could definitely still see somebody taking the Stern Lesson as the more, reliable card, but I think Perilous Vault does do some pretty good things. I do think I'm just going to take another Steel Seeker here. If our deck is all just going to be cheap artifacts, Power Stones, Alloy Animists, it's going to have a really, really nice engine. Scrap Trawler is a cool engine card too, but I'm pretty impressed with just a bunch of Steel Seekers, a bunch of Alloy Animists, making your Power Stones really cool, and of course, helping you get to the mana to cast your giant things like we have. And I will point out too, at this point in the draft, again, by staying close to one color, green is our main color, we've given ourselves just a lot of flexibility to, like I said before, if we do open an awesome black bomb, maybe we just take it. Or we just feel out the draft and see where it's leading us. Okay, in this pack, the 2 cards that really stick out to me are Zephyr Sentinel, just a really efficient beater, good utility, can pick up a creature with a good enter the battlefield effect, can save a creature that's getting targeted by a removal spell, and the Giant Cinder Maw, just a really efficient card, good to get if your opponent's trying to gain life, but just, 3 mana 4/3 trample is just gigantic. There's also the Evangel of Synthesis, but I think at this point, that ship has sailed. I'm not really looking at that. I think if I'm going to make a judgment call, are we going to be blue or are we going to be red? I'm going to say blue just because, once again, this one with the multiverse really swaying my decision. Ooh, okay, so we can get another Perennial Behemoth here. That's pretty sweet. There's also Energy Refractor in this pack, and this is a card that, one of the few cards that does help you splash, so we could be playing our Excavation Explosion, our Arbalest Engineers, even in our green-blue deck. I think I'm probably going to take that as just like a little bit of, a cheaper card. I don't think we want 2 behemoths. They don't really stack all that well. I mean, it's 2 giant blockers, but the abilities don't stack at all. So I think I'm just going to take the Refractor. Again, this is another pick that really just opens up the paths to us, really just makes us more flexible, and lets us play more of our good cards. Also, it's really good with Alloy Animist and our Steel Seekers too. With those 2 cards, Alloy Animist and Steel Seeker, really just looking for cheap artifacts that draw cards. That's like one of the biggest things I want here. All right, so pack 2, pick 5 here. We've got Weakstone Subjugation. Subjugation, which is a pretty solid removal spell. The cool thing that's kind of not obvious about this card is you can pay for that 3 extra with Power Stones. It's not actually part of the spell, it's an additional thing. So Power Stones do work for that. And Argothian Sprite, which is a card I was way more impressed with playing with than I thought I would be. There's a lot of artifact creatures in the set. It is unblockable a lot of the time. That 7 mana ability is nice with Power Stones. I do think we're a little bit late on interaction though, so I will take Weak Stone and Subjugation. All right, what do we have here? We've got Swiftfoot Boots as our retro artifact, which is kind of cool, but ultimately not a card I think is awesome and limited. We've got the Spotter Thopter, which is a card I'm a little more interested in. Decent early, pretty good late, giant flyer. So yeah, it's pretty good with all our things that draw extra lands. So I will take another expensive payoff here. Ooh, this is one of my favorite cards in this set. Argothian Opportunist, perfect for our deck. It ramps to our big artifacts. Once again, it's good with our Alloy Animist and our Saren Steel Seeker. I'm going to keep saying that, but it is one of the biggest driving factors of what's making this deck a deck. It's just things that make cheap artifacts to get those engines flowing. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. I haven't actually played with Mask of the Jadecrafter very much. It seems like a little bit of a slow card, but I'm willing to try it. It does fill that requirement of just being a cheap artifact. Also, it triggers our Steel Seekers twice. That's pretty cool. Once when it enters. No, sorry. 4 times. Once when it enters, once when you make an artifact, and then you do it again when you unearth it and make another artifact. So I'm going to take that here speculatively, give it a try. All right, well, once again, just a thing that makes a Power Stone pretty darn good. I'm going to take the Stone Revival unit here. All right, more Power Stone stuff. We've got Koilos Rock. One other thing, too, I actually forgot to mention about this Energy Refractor is it does help you cast something like One with the Multiverse, a really expensive non-artifact card, because you can filter your Power Stones into it to make it, quote-unquote, real mana. So that's a nice little synergy we have going on, too. If we pick up some more Refractors, I'll take another rock here. Just good evasive creature. I like that better than Perimeter Patrol and Colossus. And I should also say, I think we're solidly blue-green at this point. Maybe we end up splashing some of the red cards, but I'm pretty happy just saying, we're blue-green. All right, end of the pack here. Nothing too exciting. We'll just take Splitting of the Power Stone. Maybe we end up with enough really cheap artifacts to make Splitting of the Power Stone a good ramp, double ramp card. Okay, and 14th pick, Scatter. This is actually a really solid card. Good interaction spell, kind of just like an Essence Scatter variant. Going to be good at all points of the curve, so really happy to pick that up. And wow, Sentinel Stalwart too. This is also a pretty good card. Another card that helps you kind of filter your mana from your Power Stones into quote-unquote real mana. So that's a really good pickup here. All right, we open, it looks like we opened a cool card for our deck, this Tawnos Toymaker, but it carries out Birds and Beasts. And how many Birds and Beasts do we actually have? There's not too many in the set, but it's always good to look. We've got overall 3, 2 birds and 1 beast. So I don't think I'm going to take that here. I wouldn't hate it in the deck, but I think when there's a card as good as Stern Lesson, also Pristine Talisman, this card's pretty strong too. I'm just going to take the safer and also cheaper option in draft. Whenever you have a tough choice to make, a good heuristic to use is just take the cheaper card. You can never have too many cheap cards. You can definitely have too many expensive cards, though, and I think we've already got quite a few expensive cards. Okay, this pack is stacked for us. So we've got Hurkle, Master Wizard, which has a lot of words on it, but what it amounts to is if you cast a non-creature spell, a artifact, a instant, a sorcery, at the end of your turn, you can look at the top 5 cards of your library and take a card of that type if you cast one of those cards. So if you cast an artifact and a instant, you get to look at the top 5. If you got an artifact and an instant, you get to draw those. Really, really strong. Cradle Clearcutter, also a pretty good card in our ramp deck. Also Skyfisher Spider, a really strong card, but it does touch black, and I don't want to splash too much, so I'm just going to take the Hurkle and be pretty happy with that. Okay, so from this pack, I'm actually going to take kind of a strange one. Might look a little bit odd, but I'm going to take the Soul Guide Lantern here. So it's once again, say it with me now, good with Alloy Animist, good with our Saren Steel Seeker, but also, it does have a place in the format, exiling your opponent's unearthed creatures. They can be annoying, especially like a red-white aggro deck, just trading, and then they've got 4 unearthed creatures in the graveyard, and you go, well, those things are just going to kill me. Soul Guide Lantern's a really cheap and efficient way to deal with those, while having other synergies in our deck. I guess I should say, too, Soul Guide Lantern, and Chromatic Star, and Elsewhere Flask, all these cards on the retro sheet, they'll look a little bit, small effects. They have a lot of synergy. All of them, most of them anyways, sacrifice themselves or draw another card when they enter the battlefield. So they work with a lot of the set's themes already. So those are higher picks than they might seem at first. All right, I'm just going to take the Desynchronize here. Solid interaction spell. I think Defabricate is okay. You could play it, but it is a little bit more narrow. Desynchronize just works against everything. Yeah, it is a little more expensive, quite a bit more expensive, but the flexibility is worth it. All right, I'm just going to take another Stone Revival unit. What I think is going to be a really solid card in our deck. Makes 2 artifacts, too, so that's really cool for all our cards that care about that. All right, pick 6 here. Nothing too exciting. We got a Curate, which is probably what I'm going to take. Not going to add too much to our deck, and probably not even going to make the cut, but it's a fine card. You can always play that, and it's not going to make your deck worse. All right, we got a Tower Worker here, which is, mediocre ramp, but I do think it is better in this deck than the Honor Guard here. The Honor Guard is a little bit more of an aggressive card. All right, pick 8 here. I don't mind taking Third Path Savant, just pretty good curve filler creature. Also, really good place to put all our mana. Okay, so the Tauros came back, and you know what? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. No guarantee I'm gonna play it, but we'll see. We'll see if I get a little bit frisky. All right, here's a Shoot Down. That's a reasonable card. Worth noting that, we've got Shoot Down, we've also got Disenchant, and these cards that generally are not very good in most limited formats are just main deckable cards. There's a lot of artifacts, creatures, so don't feel bad about playing 1 or 2 of those kind of effects. All right, taking another Desynchronize, I think another interaction spell. I think it's a little bit better than another Mask, which, 2 masks might get a little bit clunky, but 2 interaction spells, hard for that to get clunky. All right, I imagine the last parts of the pack here, not going to have too much for us, so take the stragglers, as it were. All right, so let's get into a deck build. Okay, so I'm just going to build the base blue-green part of our deck first, and then if we realize, hey, we want to splash something, we can get into that later. So let's just take out all of the non-blue and green cards, and we got a lot of cards. We got a lot of cards to choose from. So when I'm making tough cuts like this, where we've got just like infinite cards that we might play, I just skim through and say, all right, let's take out the weakest cards first, just the generically weakest cards. Stuff like, Goblin Firebomb, definitely take that out. Curate, I was mentioning, isn't so good. Stuff like Fog of War, just stuff that made its way into our deck accidentally. Splitting the Power Stones, I think, is just weak enough that we don't want it here. I think we're Power Stone heavy enough that this Perilous Vault is a bit of a liability. So I'm going to cut that for now. I don't think we want to be wiping our board of our Power Stones. We've got a lot of 5s here. So yeah, this is, Misha's Juggernaut, a red card. We're not going to play that. All right, as sad as it is, I do think Taunos is going to get the cut. I'm going to cut this Tower Worker, just, one of the weaker spells we have. Funny enough, I actually think I'm going to cut this Audacity. I was pretty excited to take it early, but I think in our blue-green ramp deck, it actually isn't very good. It's much better in like a green-red aggro deck, or, any other green deck, to be honest. Green-white, green-black, I think it would be a little bit better there than our slower deck. So I think I'm going to cut that. Maybe shave one of the Desynchronizes, just, to lower the curve a little bit. Maybe cut one of these Coastal Bulwarks. One of the things, actually, I think I'm going to cut a land, which is kind of weird to say in a, in a ramp deck, but our deck has a lot of ways to find lands for cheap. It's got Refractor, which is going to draw us into more lands. It's got the Soul Guide Lantern, which can find us lands. It's got Citadel Stalwart, which is a mana source. Seal Seekers. So if you've got enough cards that just find lands for cheap, 1 and 2 mana cards, you can feel kind of comfortable cutting a land, especially when once you get to 3 or 4 mana, your engines start going, you've got Power Stones and stuff. All right, last cuts here, kind of tricky. I think I'm going to cut the Mask of Jade Crafter. I think it's just one of the less powerful cards. This Archaeologist also probably gets cut too. We ended up with not that many non-creature cards. We have, 8 in the deck, and that's just a little bit low for this. So let's just cut that. And as much as I was excited to take this Behemoth early, we ended up with not a ton of ways to get lands into the graveyard. We've got Stern Lesson. I guess we could mill with these Steel Seekers, but it's just as good as putting it in our hand. So yeah, I'm just going to cut the Behemoth. And I'm still really happy with the deck. It's got, good top-end stuff. The Rust Goliath, the one with the multiverse is going to do a lot of work. These prototype cards, they double, like I said, double as good cards early and good cards late. So yeah, I think this is going to be the deck build. Some tough cuts, but let's jump into the games and see how this goes. All right, let's jump in. Our opening hand is pretty solid. Yeah, we've got our Alloy Animus with, no artifacts, but it's okay. We have a lot of artifacts in our deck. We've got a Cheap Interaction spell. We've got a Shoot Down and Desynchronize. So yeah, good hand. All right, another removal spell too. So there's some consideration to not running out this Alloy Animus because it's not really doing too much, for us for a while. But I do think I will. I might pack in for some damage, and we might even just trade this off. The opponent might play a 3/1 or something, and I'm fine trading that off. All right, they play a Sprite. Ooh, we draw a Zephyr Sentinel. So this is cool because this has Flash, so we can hold it up and hold it with Scatter Ray. So we'll just pass the turn here. Opponent can get in with this Rotating Sprite, which is, again, I think I mentioned in the draft, but a card I've been pretty impressed with. All right, so I'm just going to decline the block. Not going to block with my Sentinel just yet. Like I said, I do want to maybe counter something. Yeah, I'll just counter this. This is just a... well, that's actually kind of interesting. Maybe I just flash in my Sentinel and we can block this later. Yeah, you know what? I changed my mind. We're going to flash this in. We're going to, say no picking anything up. And we're just going to block this next turn. All right, so I think I'm going to take this turn to Weak Stone Subjugation. Their Sprite, just lock that down. It can be, it's going to be a problem at some point. And again, just keep up the scatter ray. And we're just looking to trade all day here, right? We're a pretty slow deck. We're ostensibly going to win the late game, so just pretty happy to just kind of chill. He has an epic confrontation. All right, bye-bye Zephyr Sprite. That's unfortunate. We got Bop for 4, and yeah, hope to draw a land to cast this retrieval unit. We missed, but we hit a third pass Savant. We can play that. Trade with the Razor Maw. That's fine too. Ooh, another one. All right. Yep. And they get in for 5. Yeah, this card's pretty good. It's one of the better fight spells we've seen in a while. All right, take 5. And land? Land? It's not a land, but it's solid. It's something that can block this Razor Maw. And I should get in one for 1 here. I didn't get in for 1 last time, and no need to make the same mistake twice. All right, they hit their 5th land. Let's see what happens here. All right, they get in. We go for the block. They have to mill 4 cards, I believe. Yeah, maybe let's see what they mill. Some Earth stuff, potentially. Nope, just some cards. Ooh, they play a 3/5 Rescalide. Okay, cool. So now we get to make a decision here. We can either play the 2/3, which we can animate the Power Stone next turn, or we can just shoot down this Rust Goliath here. And I think that considering we are a bit behind on life, I do think I should just snap this off, and we'll set up later for something with the Alloy Animist. Kind of interesting. They look to be mono green, which is kind of cool. I do think monocolored decks can definitely have legs in this set, because there are a few cards that reward you for monocolored decks. So it's kind of interesting. I've already had a mono green deck myself that had Blanchwood armor, and that card's pretty powerful when you're on all forests. All right, so what do we do here? We could just try to block this patrol with our Stone Retrieval unit and our Animist. We could also just desynchronize it. It's a reasonable thing to do. I think I might just play this and then take 3 from this so that we can next turn animate our Power Stone, also keep up Scatter Ray and desynchronize potentially. Hoarding Recluse, 2/3 Death Touch, reach. When it dies, put a card from a library or from a graveyard on the bottom of the owner's library. Okay, that's fine. Slight annoyance, I guess, against our board of 2/3 and 4/4 that we want to block this, but no worries. Okay, so now we pass. Got desynchronize, Scatter Ray. Plan to animate this Power Stone. All right, opponent's getting in. Yeah, we're going to go for the animation here. See what they say about that. I think they know what's up. I doubt they, just misread this card or something. I'm going to go for a double block here. It does play around Giant Growth, which is a card they could have. So if they have a Giant Growth, we'll still be able to kill the patrol. Oh, there it is. Look. All right, so call our shot there. We draw a Argothian Opportunity. So it's actually really key because it gives us another thing to animate with our Alloy Animist. We'll get in for 2 here. A little cheeky 2 points. All right, kind of cruising at this point. Opponent definitely could play something scary, but we've got a counter spell and an interaction spell. Yeah, that's perfect thing to Scatter Ray. All right, now I think we are starting to turn the corner here. So I think we are, and you can see, by the way, I was talking up this card the entire time, but it's like we used our Power Stone, which we didn't spend a full card on, to trade with their 3/3, and now we're just threatening to attack for 4 with this Power Stone and any other Power Stone we draw. So yeah, really big fan of the card. I'm sure you know at this point. I'm sure this is not new information for you, dear watchers. So what do we do now? We can attack with the Opportunist and animate the 4/4. I'm not too worried about dying to this thing. I mean, we're at 4. I do have to consider that, but I also do want to start attacking. So I think what I'm going to do is just get in with the Opportunist. I think if I had 1 more mana, so I could also hold up Desynchronize, I think I would attack with the 4/4 as well. But I think we do want to play a little bit cautious right now. All right, they drew another land. And Ironclaw Crusher. Okay, so that is gigantic. We are going to desynchronize that thing. All right, so that puts it. They get to choose to put it on the top or the bottom. I imagine they'll put it on top, but that's still good. That gives us a whole turn of, we know that they're going to draw. We can plan around it. Ooh, we draw a Spotter Thopter, which we can cast. We've got 8 mana if you include the Power Stone, and I'm going to bin this Steel Seeker. So I'm cool with this. Yep, my turn. Cast it for its non-prototype mode. Get some scry going. Wow. All right, so what do we do here? So we could take one with the multiverse, but maybe the needs of this game demand us we put some non 8 mana cards on top of the deck, because we can't currently cast it unless we also set up a land as our next draw. Maybe that's just good enough. So let's look at our battlefield. So we play that, and then we can play Hurkle for free the turn after. You know, I think I'm gonna go for it. I think that is actually okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put Island on top, then one with the multiverse so we can cast Hurkle and put this forest on the bottom. I guess maybe slightly better to put forest on top so we have 4 green sources. Okay. Yes. That is my plan. That is my plan. We'll weather this giant monster at some point here. And I don't think I want to get in because then they just attack us back and they have a pretty good attack. So let's just chill. All right, they played their Giganto thing. All right, and they go, oh, why did you top land? You knew it was coming. All right, we pass. And honestly, our defenses aren't that bad right now, right? We can just block this thing. Yes, they get to pump something else, but we're not too bad. We can chump if we really need to. All right, and they just pass. That's good for us. They say, hey, I don't have a good attack. Not a good enough attack anyways. And we're doing what we came here to do, which is cool. Hopefully they don't just kill on the spot. And, yep, 0 mana. Hurkle for 0 mana. I don't think we have an enchantment in our deck other than this Weak Stone Subjugation, so I don't think we're going to be able to nab anything off Hurkle, but, you know, that's okay. Yeah, nothing here. All right. So 0. We have an Energy Refractor on top. All right, opponent hits another land. All right. Okay, so now we get to really, really go off. So I'm going to do this for a mana, because we don't need this to be the free thing. And then we keep going. All right, we whiff, but that's okay, because we can go, let's use Power Stone mana, cast this for 2, draw our land. Maybe we'll hit something else on top. All right, we do. We'll cast this for 2 mana as well. Oh, look, another thing. I think we'll cast this one for 0, because there's not that much in our deck that costs more than 5. Oh, look, more stuff. This is great. I hope you're having fun, everybody, because I am. All right, that stays. Cast Stern Lesson. Yeah. Opponent's like, all right, I see, I get it. All right, immediately eating my words, because I said there's nothing more expensive, but we have this Rest Goliath. We'll keep that. Maybe that can be our free thing next turn. And, all right, time to attack. No more playing around. They are going to trade off the Recluse here, but that's okay, because we've got another flyer here. All right, so they're putting something from their library on the bottom. Oh, sorry, their graveyard. All right, Hurkle messes up this. Oh, no, it doesn't mess up because we can draw it. Excellent. Yeah, something to note with Hurkle, too. Even though she triggers off of non-creatures, you can still grab an artifact creature if you've drawn an artifact. So that's kind of cool. Or if you've cast an artifact, sorry. Are we going to get to cast our giant thing, or is the opponent going to scoop before that happens? Let's see. All right, 8 cards in library. Well, we're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep going. Yeah. I think we can probably win here, to be honest. All right, yeah. They've had enough. Okay, that was really, really cool. Okay, next game here, and yeah, solid hand. Soul Guide can be animated if we needed to. We've also got Scatter Ray for a cheap play, and let's just go Animist. All right, opponent plays a 2/1 Power Stone Engineer. Not a bad card at all. Okay, so play land, and I think this is a good turn to hold up Scatter Ray. I'm actually probably going to trade with this Engineer. I know I don't want to take too much damage, and you know they make a Power Stone, but that's kind of okay. We've got another Alloy Animist in the weights. These don't stack particularly well. Do I counter this? You know, I think I'm okay not countering this one. I think I'm going to save my counter spell for a later date, because now my third passive on just blocks their 2/1, so it's kind of okay. All right, we draw land, and yeah, just play it. Air Wellspring. Cool. And Carrion Locust. 2/1 flyer that exiles something from my yard. All right, bye-bye, Alloy Animist. I don't think we have a way to get that back anyway, so it's all good. All right, let's play. Let's play her Stone retrieval unit. And pass the turn here. I guess we could get in with our 2-3, eh? Yeah, you know what? Send it. If they want to double block, more power to them. Oh, they do. Interesting. So they value the Power Stone, making another Power Stone potentially. Okay. Or maybe they just don't want me to draw a million cards with this. I could definitely understand that as well. Ah, here are the dunes. Okay, so they have a way to get something back. That's cool. All right, this card's really powerful. One of the better uncommons in the set. All right, so get back to Carrion Locust. It's now a 3-1. Exile my thing. Ooh, we draw a Spotter Thopter. That's pretty sweet. Okay, so we'll just go make a Power Stone. Yep, and we'll cast a Soul Guide Lantern. And, you know, I think at this point, we're just going to tap sack the Soul Guide Lantern here. See if we can hit some lands. We hit a 10-10. Not exactly a land, but that's okay. All right, we get in. I'm doing things slightly incorrectly here by casting my spells before combat, by the way. Just in case you were wondering. It's not a strategic thing. I'm just being lazy. Meticulous Excavation. Wow, this is a sweet one. So, 1 mana for an enchantment. 3 mana, return target permanent you control to its owner's hand. And so they can just keep drawing cards with this this Wellspring here. So that's a pretty cool combo. All right, we drew another land, which is good for us. So we've got 7 mana for artifacts and less mana for non-artifacts. So let's get in here. I don't think they're going to be super willing to trade. Cool. Let's play the Animist. And I'm pretty sure that I want to cast this on 8 if I can. Cast a Deadly Repose. Okay, yeah, kill this. They gain 3. Nothing I can really do about that. Yeah, they play a land. I also could have activated the Animist to attack with my Power Stone, but I do kind of want to keep up Scatter Rate here. And just have a blocker, too, for the hero. All right, so they're picking up the hero. And this is going to work out really nicely for us, because they're going to recast the hero. We're going to get the Scatter Ray. Boom. Yeah. That's pretty nice. Okay, so they're going to get in, and... Oh, they're not going to get in. Okay. I like that. So we go now. Ooh, draw Desynchronized. It's kind of tempting just to get this out of the way and scry. So yeah, you know what? I am actually going to do this. I'm going to put this away and scry to see if we can hit a land. Because if we start hitting lands for this, yeah, just like double land here. The second land is a bit interesting. I think I'm going to bottom it because if we do deem that we want more lands, we can for this Rest Goliath. But I think like digging into some action is also pretty good. Some spells. Although, they might not even come to that. Ooh, Gix's Crest. Okay, so they do get something here from us. Probably the Thopter, which is unfortunate. But that's okay. We can still attack with the 2 Power Stones. I was going to say, might not even get to that because, you know, we might just kill them. Oh, interesting. They took the Goliath and not the Thopter. Oh, I thought they would take the Thopter here. All right, they draw a card. And you know what? Let's just send. Yeah, let's just put our opponent... Oh no! Auto Tapper! You've betrayed me! Alright, that's okay. I was gonna say, put them to 1, but you know what? That's okay. Shouldn't have a problem here unless they have a field wipe. Yeah, we can bottom both of these. The versatility of Spotter Thopter. Alright, they exile our Animist. Which means we don't have lethal just yet. They're going to draw some more cards. Yeah. So this is a cool combo. The ooh, Helm of the Host. That's a scary one. This is a very, very scary card. Okay. Let's see if we can close this out quickly or draw our Power Stone. Or sorry, our one with the Multiverse. Something that goes really, really over the top. All right, them activating this is good news because it means unlikely they'll be able to cast a creature and equip the helm. You know, I don't want to eat my words here, but all right, looks like we got there. Sweet. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this draft. This was really fun. I had a really good time, and I hope you did too. But I hope this was a bit informative, right? Just showing you some of the synergies, acquainting you with some of the cards. Of course, if there's one thing that I'm going to leave you with, it's take those cards that make Power Stones. I hope you showed you some of the power of those. And yeah, happy drafting. This is a really, really cool set. Hope you enjoy it either on Arena or at your local game store. And good luck in your drafts.